Why is it taking me so long to do a most complimented video? Well, it's probably because it's taken me this long to get enough compliments to do a video. Timmy and Big Beard B get like more compliments in a week than I get in a year. Word to you, Marlo. My name's Steve, this channel is FRAG30 and thanks for tuning in. It's, always appreciated. Today I have succumbed to peer pressure and the consensus that it's something that I must do, and I'm giving you my top 10 fragrances, or top 10 most complimented fragrances. I've only included unsolicited compliments, so I've included compliments from my wife as long as they were unsolicited and I didn't sort of stick my arm in her nose and sort of say, smell this, as long as she kind of went, you smell nice, which is actually quite rare from her. So I've included those. I've included all the other compliments I've got from kind of, work colleagues, customers, friends, etc, etc. So that they have happened, but we're not talking thousands here. I'm keeping it real. The second thing to consider when watching this list is there's no exact science to this because I've considered two factors. The first is the total number of compliments received for that fragrance. So naturally, when I've worn a fragrance a shitload, I have more chance of picking up a compliment, and that shows in the results. The second, I have included some fragrances that I just seem to get a really good strike rate. So I've kind of considered where they seem to have quite a high chance of success, because there's some fragrances I've not worn as much as others, but I seem to get quite a good strike rate and people ask me what I'm wearing and kind of mentioning it. So it's kind of percentage of compliments against the number of wears and the total number of compliments. So before I start the list proper, I know some of those regular viewers are thinking they know what's at number one. They're thinking it's going to be Byron Parfums the Chronic because I bum that fragrance a lot. It's been number one on a lot of other lists. I wear it a lot and I rave about it. Well, you know what? You're wrong. It's not even picked up one single compliment, which actually really pisses me off. So in at number 10 is a mass appealing synthetic designer release. It is Stronger With You from Armani. Now, from the moment I smelled this fragrance, I really enjoyed it. It's kind of got that sweet, almost gourmand fragrance kind of going on with the cinnamon and the vanilla. And it's just so kind of easy and mass appealing, and it's really easy to like. And if you're a proper nerdy frag head, yeah, you're not going to rate it as just a mass appealing designer frag, but it does work and it does get the job done. My wife's complimented me on this a few times, and so have friends, particularly when we've been outside in colder weather and there's been a bit of a breeze and they've caught kind of a whiff of it, because it does perform really well, it does project and it does last. So yeah, I have got good results from this fragrance. In at number 9 is genuinely one of my favourite fragrances of all time. I've mentioned it on my channel many times, and it is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. From the moment I smelled this fragrance, I loved it, I really enjoyed it, and I've picked up compliments along the way. My friend liked it, but she preferred Ombre Leather. My wife liked this when I first kind of bought it and kind of wore it. I actually wore a clone of it originally, and she sort of complimented me, and then she eventually bought it for me as a gift. And she's kind of complimented me, and so has friends. Again, similar sort of situation when we've been outside. I remember queuing for something outside and they've caught kind of in the cold and they've caught a whiff of it, and I've had compliments from them for that, and it does kind of work. I really like it. It's a really nice, quite manly yet sweet, appealing kind of fragrance. In at number 8 is a fragrance that grew on me immensely, and I rinsed the fuck out of it this summer. It is Chrome Sport from Azzaro. Now, as you can see, I've worn loads of this fragrance. I kind of wore it loads in the summer. I took it on holiday with me as well. My wife's complimented me on this quite a few times. I picked up a couple of kind of comments from people that we met on holiday, and just kind of colleagues and stuff, and people that I've met through work. Kind of, they've just put it in the high heat. It's so fresh, and it's just a really nice, fresh, clean fragrance. And it's really similar, if anybody's not smelt it, it's basically very similar to Versace's Mano Fresh, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. In at number 7 is a great date fragrance. Not that I get to go on many dates anymore, because let's be honest, my best years are long behind me. But it is a great fragrance. It is a Marnie Code Perfume. It is such a compliment getting fragrance, this, because they've taken such a solid, versatile fragrance like a Marnie Code, and with that versatility you can still wear this in the office, etc. But they've made it super sexy. I've previously said it's like they've taken a Marnie Code and they've made a version of it that makes women want to sit on your face. And it does garner compliments, this, because it's not too overpowering, but it will get noticed. People do notice this, and it's such a well blended, manly, leather-based yet sweet fragrance that it will just, people notice it and then they'll say, damn, that smells good. So yeah, you can't go wrong with a Marnie Perfume. In at number 6 is a fragrance that is gonna potentially be a little bit controversial, but this has a hell of a strike rate. It is Y, the EDT version from Yves Saint Laurent. Now, I did a video on this not that long ago and I've not owned this fragrance that long, but as I indicated in that video, this gets the job done, mate. It is basic, but it's clean and fresh, and I've not come into contact with somebody that doesn't like it. Anybody I've asked has liked it, and I've also picked up quite a lot of compliments. Again, this is more about strike rate for this fragrance. This is why it's in the list. It's not the total number of compliments because I've not owned it that long, but relative to the number of wears, this is probably one of the best performing fragrances in this list. If I'm looking at purely a strike rate percentage compliments against wears, it really does garner results. I know it's basic, I know people don't like it, but it's got that great compliment getting factor of being clean, fresh, and I get quite good projection in the first hour or two as well, so people notice it. So I get good sillage. I've been in the office, I've walked past people and they've kind of complimented me on it. I gave somebody a hug in the office and again she's like, oh, what are you wearing? And my wife has complimented me on this unsolicited pretty much every time I've worn it. So it gets the job done. I'm sorry guys, I know you don't like it, but it's in the list because it fucking works, mate. In at number 5 is a fragrance I have mentioned a million times, so I'm not going to dwell on it. It is my favourite from my favourite house. It is Bulgari's Man Black Cologne. Now, as most of you know, I've worn this a lot. I really love this fragrance. It just resonates with me. It's got that kind of boozy rum note mixed with the kind of florals, and I just really enjoy it. I find it sort of a bit different, a bit unique, and a little bit sexy. I just really like it. So I've worn it at quite a lot of events and quite a lot of things. My wife likes this. She's complimented me sort of quite a few times. I remember wearing it in the car once and she was just like, oh, you smell nice today. I've worn it to a FRAG30 meetup in London and I picked up some compliments from the guys there as well. We were standing in the pub in a bar and the door was opening and it's causing a draft and a breeze and it was kind of blowing my sillage their way. So a few of them kind of noticed it then and they're like, oh, that's kind of a bit different, that smells nice. And I've also worn it kind of to like families' birthday parties and things like that. So I've picked up quite a lot of compliments and quite a lot of comments because it's just a little bit different, so it gets noticed for that reason, but it's still kind of, it's digestible enough in my mind anyway that people kind of can like it. It's not too weird or wonderful. So yeah, I love this fragrance, but you guys know that, so I won't say any more. It is Bulgari's Man Black Cologne. In at number 4 is a hidden gem in my eyes. It is a great fragrance. It is Lancome's Hypno's Pour Homme. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get a bottle for this video. I tried, but I couldn't get one delivered in time because I have run out. I've gone through several bottles of this fragrance. The reason this is in the list because years ago, I think this was launched in about 2007, and not long after that, an ex-girlfriend bought this for me as a gift because she really liked it. So naturally, I wore it quite a lot. And back then I was going out quite a lot with my mates and also with her, so I was wearing this. It became my signature going out fragrance. So for that reason, I picked up a lot of compliments because it's not a risky DNA by any means. It is fairly safe. There's kind of got quite a fresh, slightly spicy opening. There's some lavender in the mids, along with some like patchouli, musk and amber in the base. And it gets results. It's kind of quite a safe, manly, kind of slightly sweet, musky, kind of slightly spicy fragrance. So it kind of gets noticed, and it wasn't that popular, so it wasn't like you smelt it all the time, so people did notice it, and it did get a lot of compliments. And I've gone through a few bottles of this now because I liked it, so I kept wearing it. This was the last fragrance that I actually finished. So I actually finished a bottle kind of towards the end of spring, start of summer last year. And I've not replaced it because that was basically when I started getting into this crazy kind of addiction hobby. So, but I want to, so it's on my to buy list, and I'm going to pick up another bottle because it is a great manly fragrance that's not that much money. You can get it for about £30 in the UK, so you can't really go wrong. I urge you to check it out. In at number 3 is an absolute classic. It is DNG Light Blue. Now, everybody knows this fragrance, everybody smelt this fragrance, but it is a winning formula of being a little bit spicy, but it's clean and fresh, and just it's impossible to dislike, to be honest. Now, this is one of those fragrances that I've not owned that long, this particular bottle, but again, the conversion rate is really high. Every time I've worn this, my wife has said that I smell nice. Literally, I'll just kind of put it on in the evenings, just as like an evening scent. I walk past her, sit down on the sofa, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's nice," or "You smell good." I think literally every time I've worn it, she's kind of complimented me on the fragrance. And I've also picked up compliments from kind of colleagues when I've gone into the office and I've kind of greeted them, and also with friends. Performance isn't great, so obviously the compliments are normally going to be in the first couple of hours when it's a bit more, kind of it's projecting a bit more. But I do actually prefer this version to the Intense version because I think that's kind of a little bit more citrusy. Well, I prefer this kind of a bit of kind of lighter, fresher sort of version. But yeah, the performance in the Intense is a little bit better, but this just gets results. So yeah, from a strike rate and percentage of success kind of point of view, this had to be quite high up in the list. In at number 2 is a fragrance that I've mentioned 1,000,001 times on my channel. It is Bleu de Chanel, the EDP version. Now, everybody knows I love this fragrance. You can see that I've worn the hell out of it. I've kind of gone through this like bottle like crazy because it's so versatile, it's so clean, and it performs really well on me. Now, I've got compliments all over the shop for this. My wife really likes this, so she's complimented me. My little boy has actually complimented me and said that, "Oh, Daddy, you smell nice." I've kind of got some second-hand compliments where I've dropped him off at nursery and kind of hugged him. He's got some of it on him, and then he's kind of gone and greeted the kind of carers at nursery, and they've said, "Oh, you smell nice," and stuff like that. So it just works. I wore this into the office not long after I got it, and my manager actually kind of noticed it, and he was like, "Oh, you wearing Bleu de Chanel? It smells really good." And someone else kind of noticed it, and then when I was talking to her about kind of the fragrances on my channel, and I said, "Which ones did she like?" And she said, "Oh, I like that one you was wearing the other week when you were in the office, and our boss kind of complimented me." So it works, but you know that, everybody knows that, so I don't really need to go on about it anymore. In at number 1 is going to be no surprise for the hardcore Frags to Riches fans, because it is a Marnie Diamonds, the original, none of the flankers. Now, anybody that knows my journey knows that back in the day, before I got into all this kind of obsessive addiction, that I smelt this fragrance, and it was one of the first fragrances that I kind of fell in love with from kind of smelling. I just thought it was really nice, and I bought it. I just used to, when I was going out, kind of out with the lads, on the lash, on the pool, anything, I used to just wear this. Any kind of event, any formal event, going out, I just wore this because I only had a handful of fragrances back then. So I wore the hell out of this. So for that reason, this has obviously just picked up the most compliments along the way during my fragrance career / journey. And I think rightly so, it's a kind of like woody, sweet, spicy fragrance. So it does get noticed. It does kind of, particularly in the first hour, it does project quite well, and it will get noticed. And it wasn't uber popular. I have smelt other people wearing it. One of my mates was wearing it one time when I met up with him. But yeah, it does get noticed, and it is just from that cacao. The cacao gives it this kind of sweet, mass appealing edge where it's got some other spices and kind of woodiness, which gives it this kind of clean, manly kind of vibe going on. Very designer, but I've worn the hell out of it, so naturally it's got me the most compliments. So that's it. That's my top 10 most complimented fragrances. I got suckered in to talk about compliments and most complimented, even though it's not really me, if I'm honest. I wear a fragrance for me first and foremost. There's fragrances that I wear that my wife doesn't like, but you know, I still wear them anyway. I wouldn't wear them on a date because I still want to get some at the end of the night, but you know, I will wear fragrances for me because I'm the one that smells them and I'm the one that enjoys them. But you know, we all like compliments. I'm not saying I don't. I certainly like to get complimented, but I just wish I got some more compliments on Byron's The Chronic. Anyway, if you did get something from this video, do please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button. It really, you know, it helped me grow the channel, and I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thanks again for watching. By all means, leave a comment below. Let me know what's your most complimented. I'd be really curious to see. There's certainly ones I want to try. And I will see you for the next video. Take care. Much love.